Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of the Bougie Asylum. I'm your host, Sil, aka Big Sil. And these are my guests and my co-hosts. I'm gonna let y'all introduce yourselves, so just say your name and your relationship status.
I'm Lyric and I am occupied.
What that mean?
We're gonna have to get it what it means. I'm Jillian and I'm married.
I'm Marquis and I'm in a relationship, so take it. Off the streets.
Okay, y'all, so today we're gonna be talking about love languages. More so in the way that we love and how we like to be loved, and some of the breakdowns of what it actually is. So I did a little research and whatnot. So before we do that, we're gonna take a shot, then we're gonna do a little icebreaker, then we're gonna get to it. Okay. So we're gonna take a shot. My friend Bougie don't take shots, we're gonna have her drink her little drink over here. So y'all ready? We're gonna loosen up. Okay, that was crazy.
That's nothing before I got to it. It was gonna be like that. It's all good.
Okay. So, for our icebreaker, just loosen things up. We're just gonna ask each of you what your most embarrassing moment is. We're gonna start with you.
Why we gotta start with me? Okay. Okay, I'm about to put myself out here. Okay. Do I even want to say this?
You do, because now I wanna know what it is.
I don't even know how to say this. Okay, so I had got a little job on Fort Lee to work for the daycare or whatever. So part of the job for your training, they want you to come and work at the different levels. They have like the infant level, the next step up, I guess, to the toddlers, and then you go do like the bigger kids. So I had to be there at 5:30 in the morning. So I got there like 5 o'clock. I got there too early. I'm sitting there, stomach started rumbling. So I'm sitting here like, the building won't open yet, couldn't go inside. I'm sitting in there, nothing is open. So I'm just sitting there and I was like, I could just, wait it out and see what happens. I'm gonna regret saying this is the first thing that popped in my head. So I'm sitting there and it's getting worse. I start to sweat. I'm like, yo.
The ones with the sweats get worse.
I started to sweat. I was like, yo, I'm gonna have to go in the bush.
No, you did not.
I was like, I'm gonna have to go in the bush. Like, this is not my life right now. Nothing was open. And I'm on Fort Lee, so I can't go off base. I'm not gonna make it home. So it's either we gonna have an accident or I need to find a corner. So I go off behind the bush, do my little business, take the drawers, wipe my butt, wrap them up, throw them in the trash, had to go commando the rest of the day.
But that's not what I expected.
That's the only thing I can think of. That's embarrassing.
No, you a real one, because I would catch it myself.
Listen, I'm married.
And she said, I ain't looking at you when y'all think about me.
I'm a lot, so.
And he ain't going no place.
I'm dead. Go ahead, Lyric.
I don't know why we were at Burger King, but we were. My sister was driving, just me and her, and she asked me to get in the car to get something. And she's like, all right, but you can't get back into the car until you chicken head. And I'm like, what? It's like, nah, like you gotta kill the chicken head for these bitches to the car. So I'm just like, bro, I'm not doing that. She got the car, so I'm just like, and she's like, no, you gotta kill it, so I'm going hard. Why are you trying to be like, get it, girl, and I'm just like, and she's sitting there dying, getting out of bed, because there's so many people out. That shit embarrass you to get back for no reason.
I just want to say that wasn't me. That was our other sister. Like, I would have done it. I thought about it though. Oh my god. those are the only one I can think about. I'm sure I got worse, but like, I ain't trying to top y'all. So, only one I can think about me being real embarrassed. By the time I got locked up. And long story short, I already done told y'all, I'm me telling the officer like I had to be. And I was already like in the handcuffs in the car, so like he was not gonna let me out. And then as soon as he put me out when we got to the jail, like I just peed all on myself. And I never changed my clothes, so I just walked around the jail and everybody just looked at me with piss on my pants and shit, looking fucking childish and drunk and whatnot. And I just felt like that was just so low. I really was in jail, like, yeah, they hear my bottom. Got these handcuffs, got piss on myself, like, this ain't it.
Nah, scared straight goes if you.
No, period. I ain't going back.
They gonna remember you.
Facts.
But you already got a big bag.
That's probably a big sale bag.
My jail days.
I actually had like 2 of them that I thought was probably like really good. But I think the most recent one was I was in Richmond and I was going home. It was in traffic. So there was another car that pulled up beside me, and I thought I was cool like a motherfucker at that point in time. And the dude was talking, but it was like he was talking to me. So he was like, "Dad, there's one cool motherfucker right there, man. You the coolest motherfucker that I know." So I was like, "Oh, thank you, man." And he looked, he was like, "I ain't talking about you. I'm talking about I had a car full of people though. I ain't talking about you, bro." He was talking to his homeboy on the motherfucking side of the street. So I just rolled the window up, turn the music off, and kept it moving. For conversation purposes, the second one was when I was in class with y'all, and I had this outfit that I picked out especially for the day. It was a fucking nice ass outfit, right? And I ended up coming late, not on purpose, but by mistake. So I walk in with this fucking nice ass outfit, and I get kicked out of fucking class in front of everybody. So now I'm standing in front of everybody, late as a motherfucker, and Ronzo. They tried to kick me out because I was supposed to have like not G'd, but my folks held me down and they pressed their ass out. It was like, hell no. But yeah, that was embarrassing. So, that was my 2.
Especially when you was ready to flex.
As soon as I got up in that door, he was like, "Come on, Ronzo. I know you're going to comment with me on this or what?" He was like, "I had to get out." I was like,
Not your fault.
That was cool. I'm dead. Okay. That is not what I expected, but okay. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and get started. So, first of all, are y'all aware of the 5 languages? Everybody know what they are. Well, for a reminder, they are physical touch, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and words of affirmation. So first, we're just gonna go around the room and just state what you believe your love language is. We'll start with you this time.
Yeah, why
affirmation is my love language. And I slightly cheated on this a little bit because I went and did, let me tell the whole entire truth. Before this even started, love language is something that's kind of like fairly new to me.
Mm-hmm.
So, my current girlfriend sent me it's like basically like a little questionnaire that you need to kind of tell you. When I was done with the questionnaire, it said affirmation was my love language, which I feel like is true. You know, I like to be told that, I look good. I like to be told that, I love you and all these type of things. That kind of boosts my morale in relationships.
Yeah, I don't know. I think what I feel like most dudes are probably affirmation, but I'll let you say what you want to say. I think, oh yeah. I feel like mine is technically all of them, but the main one would be acts of service. I think I feel the most love when you just like go out of your way for me or do stuff for me, especially 'cause I just feel like nobody owes you nothing. So when people do stuff for me, I'm really like, oh, nigga, not you love me. And then because when I was reading more about it, it states how when you have like, if your love language is acts of service, when you have broken commitments, that's one of the main things that makes you feel unloved. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. Because if like, I don't like people who are not about their word or not about coming through for you, especially if you say you are. Like, that's something that really makes me feel like, oh, I can't mess with you in friendships or in relationships. Like, that's something that makes me feel like I can't mess with you.
I like acts of service too.
Yeah, mine is acts of service too. Because I feel like I noticed that more too when you do something for me rather than you telling me something. I'm this kind of guy. And because I'm not a talker either, you really get a I love you from me. But here go this thing, I'll give you some gas. I love you.
What's some gas? Look, gas money,
Right, yeah, especially with these prices right now. Shoot. You love me right now.
That's a good little I love you.
I gotta get gas after this. Shoot.
Gas don't come up here, I won't go make it. Gotta make a decision.
I think mine is acts of service too, but I think affirmations is a close second. Like, if I don't have to tell you to do something, or if you just remember, like, oh, she needs to do this, this, and this today, let me lighten her load by doing this and this, or like, okay, you care about me. now I don't have to do as much, or now I don't have to work as hard, now I don't have to think as much, and I'm a parent too, so that's like, it's too much during the day, so if you can lighten my load, I'm like, okay. But then I do like to be like, oh, you look nice. Oh, I love you so much. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, I love all of that. Like, you could tell me that all day. I'm like the happiest person. So I think I have two. Those are my top two.
Yeah, sometimes I've been thinking mine's quality time too. It's important to me, but like, no, not as important as acts of service.
But do you think that y'all's love languages change daily, or like change based on where you're at in life?
For sure. Mine changed. It used to be words of affirmation, and then it went, when quarantine hit, it was quality time. So I'm like, I can't really see you like that. Whoever I'm talking about. So then it changed, and now I see him all the time.
And I was changed to something else.
Yeah, and I'm like, asking Sarah, you gonna be here, you gonna wash a dish. I appreciate that more.
I don't feel like mine's changed though. I feel like that's always been like my shit. Like
What, acts of service?
Yeah. Cause I don't think I care that much about us. I definitely don't care about physical touch. I don't really care that much. It's like all of them are necessary. Yeah. But that I care about that much. I don't care about physical touch or affirmations that much. Or gifts that much.
I don't notice them. Like, I don't feel more loved if you buy me.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's
Right.
nice, thank
Appreciate
you, but
it.
like,
Yeah.
you know.
Should I like physical touch?
You know, because physical touch has nothing to do with anything sexual, just so you know. When it comes to love languages, it doesn't. So do you like to like cuddle and hold hands and whatnot?
Yeah, I like to color all that.
Love it, boy.
I like to cut on legs. I got this like little spot on the couch that's like angled just so you can like lay on it and watch the TV and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I did used to like stuff like that, but I might do.
I gotta make sure that if I am in, I guess you would say, cuddle mode, and I don't have nothing else to do during that time, I'll probably fall asleep. That's the first thing, like, I know what I'm laying up on you, I'm going to sleep.
Oh. So next question, and I'll answer it first just to be clear. Do you feel like you love people in your own love language or in theirs? So for me, since I've been single, I've been self-reflecting and whatnot. I really feel like I've been loving people in my love language because one, I feel like it's the best one, which is selfish, but like that's how I felt. And because I didn't know anything about love languages, I felt misunderstood when you didn't love me the same way I love. Mm-hmm. And now that I know about love languages, I realized, like in my last relationship, whatever that was, that I know now what his love language was, but in the relationship I didn't know. And it just made so much more sense. Like, I think his was gifts. And that was last on my list. Like, and I just know we would butt heads about like like I'm doing all of these things the way that I love you and doing stuff for you, showing you that I love you, and you're buying me all this stuff, like trying to make me feel love, and I keep telling you I don't care about these gifts. I want you to do this, like okay. And he's like, I want you to buy me some stuff. I don't care about all this extraness that you're doing. Like I feel good when you buy me stuff, but it didn't hit me till recently, like.
But I think some people mix up the two. Like if I'm buying you something, it's an act of service when it's really not. Like
Right.
just buying something. But people that want gifts, it's not about the gift or how much it costs. It's like, oh, you thought of me, or oh, you know me well enough to know that I would like this.
And it's about the effort that went into it. But in my mind, I'm like, you're just materialistic.
Yeah.
And the whole time, that's just how you feel the most love.
Right.
So do you?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't learn that until actually my best friend taught me that. And we've been best friends since we were 5. And we've had beefs like where we haven't spoken for years over this because she needs to hear I love you and I miss you and you're so great. And I'm like, all of those things are true, but like when I paid for your dinner, why didn't you feel that same love?
Right.
So she's like, no, I need to hear it. And I'm like, I don't talk like that. And I've never, like, wasn't raised in a house that talked like that. I knew I was loved, but it wasn't because, oh, you're so great. Yeah, so I'm just like, why don't you get it? Why do I have to
Explain this to you.
Yeah, explain this to you. So I'm like, no. So yeah, I was loving her in an act of service, but it really meant nothing. She felt like I didn't love her at all because I never said it the whole time.
But like that's what's crazy that now I be looking into it. It makes life so much more easy.
Right.
Like, okay, I get it now. But at the time, I'm like,
but it was like to her, she was like, you're literally speaking Chinese to me. Like, I don't get it. You've never said it, so how am I supposed to know that? Like you've been around for 20 years.
That's how.
Right.
I didn't used to because just like you said, like I'm doing other things. So why does it matter if I don't do X, Y, and Z?
Right.
But after bumping heads,
Right.
I'm like, okay, well, it's not about me on how you want to be loved. You know what I mean? Just like it's not about you on how I want to be loved. It's my job to tell you how I want to be loved and you to adjust to that, and then the same thing from me to you.
Right.
So it's my job, okay, well, you don't respond how I respond with this. So just to make sure that he knows that I appreciate him and I love him, that I just need to direct my attention over here so that he knows that. So now I try to do that, but before I was like, no.
Yeah, because before I would be offended, like, this is just how I am.
Right.
Like, when now I know that that's selfish and I should have learned your love language, but to me, I'm just like, so you just don't love me for me. You want to find somebody else, then it work better for you.
I think I was in that same boat though, like loving people the way I wanted to be loved, not really fully understanding that there was any other way, because that's just what I knew. But over time, especially in the relationship I'm currently in, I learned I can't love that way because I don't get the same response. And you know, in the beginning, I was kind of like, I wouldn't say upset, but I didn't get it. You know, and after just really having conversations with her and kind of building from point A to point B, now I know, all right, so you like this type of thing, and you want me to say this and do this, and kind of finding an in between. You know, still loving her in a way that I do, but compromising on certain things that I kind of thought was like, for lack of better words, kind of lame. I was like,
Right.
We do stuff, but yeah, I started off loving my way, and then eventually building to a point that I know I gotta kind of compromise in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what they teach you though. They always tell you when you're younger, like, treat people the way you want to be treated.
Right.
You don't,
Right.
like, they don't never tell you, like, well, did you ever take into account how they want you to treat them?
Right. It kind of comes from thinking like everybody thinks like you do, and everybody does not. Like, it took me a while to get that too. Like, I'm doing so much, I feel like, to show you like I love you, and you just acting like I don't care about you because I don't say it, or I'm not like touching you, I'm not on you. But like, yeah, you think I'm in the trenches with you just because I love you?
That was a big thing. Like when we first started going together, and I was telling her, I was like, you know, I bring you around like my family. put you in certain situations or around certain.
And you think
people.
all them little things is making her feel like she's loved.
And because I know how these situations feel to me, or whatever they mean to me, and I know that other people don't get that access to me or those people like that. And even just having this conversation now, kind of like make you realize like, all right, you don't understand my language at this point, so you don't really get how important that is to me. So I can't really be upset with you because you don't really get it.
Right. And that was made me think, like, I wonder where I would be if I'd never learned this. Because I would just continue through life thinking, okay, you're not loving me how I want. You're not loving me how I want. You're ungrateful. You're not appreciating how I love you. And the whole time, it's really about being, like, intentional.
Right.
Like, because it's not going to be you trying to do something that comes second nature to you. And really, you have to go out of your way to love somebody. And I'm thinking I could just be me and you just going to love how I love you. And everybody don't want that. Like, everybody don't want that, and everybody is not raised the same. So, when I did my research on this little book or whatever, it says that usually your love language stems from your childhood and what made you feel loved as a child. So what from your parents or people that loved you made you feel loved as a child?
Wait, say it again?
Like when you're, like what's something like mom and dad did or a family or uncle that did for you that made you feel like they loved you?
I feel like sometimes I kind of like things I did, I was used to like being good. Things I did just kind of got swept under the rug. So when they acknowledged that I did something good, that made me feel good. But I guess that would make it words of affirmation, but it's not. It used to be though, that might be why.
But it might be because they say it's usually like either what they did to make you feel loved or what they did that kind of made you feel unappreciated. You got to dig deep on that. That's probably it. We'll let you ponder on it if you need some time. Come back to you.
I kind of agree with that too, because my sister's a really child.
It's always the second one.
I was a pretty good child, I think. So it's the same thing. Like if I did something good, it was like at that point it's just expected of you. Like nobody's acknowledging it anymore. Whereas opposed if my sister did something good, it's like they ain't used to that. It's like, oh shoot, girl, give it up for you or something like that. So I feel like that's where the affirmations come from because I didn't get that a lot. So I guess I crave that now. And the acts of service, I really don't know. Maybe that's just something I grew into over the years because I don't think I was always an acts of service person. Like I feel like when I was younger, I could care less if you did something for me. But maybe that comes from when I was younger, feeling like maybe people weren't doing enough for me. So I just got used to
doing it on your own.
Doing it on my own. So I didn't really expect that and could care less if other people did it for me. I guess as a wall to not be let down if someone didn't do those things.
I'll just do it myself.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll do it myself.
Now I understand you so much more after that question. Okay, got it.
Also, because I thought about this the whole time, that's why I was like, yes. Affirmation really comes because we're deep. I come from like a family of 7 technically, but 6 in the household. So like gifts and all that type of stuff, it's kind of like not everybody gets the same thing, but everybody will get something. So it's like a sharing and caring environment. So when I used to do something that was kind of like out of the norm, my mom would always like just give the highest praise and just get the most attention. I draw a picture, do something like that. She's like, "Oh man, it's a great picture." They make me want to do it more and bring back some more. And, like even when I was playing football and stuff, I used to just like cheer and like just really, really rock with it. It's like I like the be able to kind of be singled out of everybody and like being told good. So yeah, my mom did that a lot. Individually, she did that with all of us, depending on who we got. So that was kind of like that moment for you to get your shit.
Oh, that was hard for her, all the kids. and figuring out each of your kids' love languages. Make sure y'all get the same attention.
Mm-hmm.
This and that. But I would think mine definitely comes from, I always remember feeling like my mom was always there for me. Like when I got in trouble, my mom always had my back. Or like, if something happened, she was always pulling up, or anybody was always pulling up. So like, being there is part of like my acts of servicing. Like somebody always showing up for me, that made me feel like, the way she made me feel, I wanted to make other people feel.
Mm-hmm.
And she always like did that. If nothing else, Ruth was pulling up. Okay? Ruth was like, not my child, no, I got you, I believe you, woo to woo. And so now, I'm that person. Like, I want to make you feel loved by like, whatever you need, I'm going to be there. Oh, you need, who did what? I'm coming. Oh, you sad? Bitch, I'm pulling up. Like, to me, that's what made me feel the most love. So that's how I love people, even if, you know what I'm saying, y'all appreciate it, but I ain't gonna So, what makes you feel the most unloved? Like, if they don't do this certain thing, what makes you feel like unloved or unappreciated? Let me stump. Like I said earlier, like if you don't do what you say you're gonna do, that really makes me feel unloved. Or because I'm not really, I am as I get older, but I'm not that much of an emotional person. I'm not really gonna call on people to rely on them unless I really need you, because I don't like help. Mm-hmm. So if I really feel like I need you and you brush me off, that makes me feel unloved. Like I'll shut down. I'll probably never ask you for nothing again. I'll probably start feeling like, oh, I knew I shouldn't have opened up. I knew I should have said, I knew I should have been me. And then it's like, I feel like you don't love me. Like you don't rock with me for real.
I agree with that. I feel the exact same way.
I think if I'm like, if all the things that I really like to do, or just conversation, things that we doing, just if I'm not paid attention to, or I don't get that, not necessarily the affirmation, but you know, if we're having a conversation, you're not in tune with the conversation.
Right.
Or sharing something that's exciting to me, and you don't even remotely pretend that you're excited about it, interested in it, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's when I feel like the most like, I'm conversating with you and then you kind of like, okay, and then dismiss it, and I'm like, oh shit, I should never said that to you anyway, I'm gonna keep it to myself,
right.
Or, you know, give that information off to somebody else that's gonna kind of give it the attention that I feel, you know. And I understand everybody doesn't really like, they're not into everything that you into, you know, but at least like, oh, that's cool, or at least like yearn to learn more about it. You know
Because if I'm passionate about it, like
That should be
either fake like you are, or like get to know about it just because you're involved with me.
Exactly, because I feel like that's what I would do too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like if it's something that I don't really care for or like, I don't understand, I'm listening to you. And sure, I even go and research it. So the next time that conversation that comes up, I can be a little bit more into the conversation. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if I'm just, I guess the attention's not there when I'm demanding your attention or asking for your attention, I think that's when I feel like the most disconnected person.
Okay.
Yeah, me too. I hate to be dismissed. Like that is top tier. I'm gonna shut down. It is what it is. Because for me, I know what I would do for you. Like if you like something, you're excited about something, I know how much effort I'd put behind that. So if you don't do the same, I'm just like, okay, whatever. What am I doing all this for? Because the biggest thing I've had to learn is like everybody's not raised like you, or doesn't move like you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I let a lot of stuff slide because that's the excuse. Oh, you didn't have a mom, you didn't have a dad, you didn't do this. So I ended up eating a lot of shit. I'm like, okay, you need to speak up on it and say that you don't like that stuff. So being dismissed, that comes from being dismissed too. I don't like it.
Yeah. I think, and now more so that y'all are saying it, and like I said, I've been doing a lot of self-reflecting. I'm one of them people. Like, if you say something to me that you into, and I don't care, it's hard for me to fake it. Like, So, and
No, I know that's
not even just hard for me to fake it, but like hard for me to show emotion even when I do care. So even when I do care about stuff, I still sometimes come across nonchalant because I'm just not you know what I'm saying, type of person. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. And now that you're saying that, it makes me feel like, dang, that probably made people feel like brushed off.
Oh, yeah.
But like I could really mean it though, and be like, oh, that is cool. But that's all I'm saying. Like, okay, that's cool because that's just I'm not an over the top happy person. But like, yeah, it's probably more so about being intentional. Like I didn't go out of my way. Like, let me make sure this person knows I'm like into what you're talking about. Yeah, no, I didn't do that. But I'm growing from this.
Yeah, putting in the effort because I'm super nonchalant too, as people keep telling me it gets on their nerves. So now I gotta be like, oh, that's good. That's good. And then
At the call center, they call them, what did they say that word that I wasn't using? Like power words or something.
Mm-hmm.
Those words, show that you're excited even when you're nonchalant. That's why I want to make it a good job.
But that's the messed up part about it. It's like, because we're the same job. It's like if I could do that at work, I should be able to do that for the person I actually love. And I never thought about it.
it just takes more effort. That's why I think people love other people in their own love language because it's easier.
Yeah.
Than to have to learn you and know what you like and have to put in the extra effort to go out of my way.
Yeah. And because we're selfish, like I said, because it never crossed, if I didn't know about love languages, I wouldn't even thought about it. It never crossed my mind, like, hey, how do you want to be loved? You know what I'm saying? I've never had that conversation. I just kept doing what I was doing, trying to thinking that you'll eventually catch on to like, look, nigga, I love you.
What more you want me to do?
Oh, you want me to do that? I ain't gonna do that.
That's probably.
And that's another thing. Like, it would be like limits to my love too, because if so many people are affectionate, and I'm not, and I would never like try to be affectionate for you. I would just say, you know, this how I am. This is what you been got. I don't hold hands. I don't do this. I don't do that. I don't cuddle. Nothing. And now I'm like, it would have killed me, but I could have done it for, you know what I'm saying, the right person. Like, and in my next relationship, I'll be more mindful, of like, okay, let me see what you need and try to do it because I actually do care about you. If not, like, why am I with you?
We'll find somebody that can like come.
And then y'all live it together. But then she gonna be like, why you don't want to come to me?
I would.
Yeah.
I definitely would.
Like, what's going on? Why you don't want to come to me?
Like, I might don't want to tell you, but why do you don't want to touch me? I got curious. Like, what you doing?
No, I agree with all those things, but I think something that has nothing to do with the other person, it just makes me feel away, is if I feel like I did something great, kind of like what you were saying, like I feel like, oh shoot, I killed that with my son, like that was some good parenting I just did, and nobody acknowledged it, I'd be like, y'all ain't see that? That was talent, like nobody, I'm invisible, all right, that's fine. Like if I feel like I did something like top tier, and like I knew it took a lot of effort for me to stop and do that and get it done, and nobody else sees it, I'm like,
You say you want to
I
see
knew
me
I was
do it
great.
again?
You're gonna tell me.
You see me do it again?
She do it again, baby.
Run it back.
But I didn't used to be that affectionate. I'm not your extreme. Like I can cuddle and all that, but I'm not. I didn't used to be big on like saying I love you all the time, doing all that. I think when I had my son, it came a little easier because I mean that's your kid, and then it kind of started sprinkling to other places. Cause we didn't grow up saying I love you all the time. To this day, if my grandma would slip up and be like, "Okay, love you," before she hang up, I hesitate, like, "Yo, when we start doing that?" Or like my mom, like she'll be like, "I love you," and I'll be like, "What's wrong? Who died? Like, are you alright? Like, what's going on?
Are you sick?
Yeah, like it still will take me, and I feel like that's something we just need to work on.
Yeah. God, as we get older, I just feel like that's actually important.
Yeah.
It wasn't ever important to me before. Like, hey, you know I love you. Like,
Right.
like, but now it's like, yeah, I do have the urge to say it more, and I do have the urge to like hear it more too. too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like with my best friend, I'd like randomly text her and I'm like, okay, love you. And she'll call me like,
You alright?
You don't even know what that did to me. Oh God. Now we gotta have a long talk, like since I text you.
But realistically, well, my mom was always that way with us. Like, we heard I love you a lot. And never that we like lost it going like forward and into adults. But it has been, especially in my life, just one day you'll be here talking, the next day that person that you didn't say that you loved to, or didn't show that affection to, will be gone. And as a group and a lot of people that I'm around now, we make it a habit of saying that so that just because of the uncertainty overall. So I tell my brothers that all the time. Before we get off the phone, so I might call out here back and say, "Hey, you alright, bro?" You said just because of that uncertainty.
Yeah.
So I say it a lot in my circle, but I do use it. I don't use it loosely.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Because you can get into that habit and then you telling everybody that you love them.
Right.
You love them,
And
and
it's
it's
not
not
as meaningful.
it's not as meaningful.
Yeah, we don't. I don't think.
I never told you that.
I was like to say, I
You
don't
might get on Instagram post, love you, big dog.
Right. Right. If anything, because I can say it through text, I can say it through words, but I can't say it in person. I don't know why. Like I
It's
can,
just
but it's
like
uncomfortable.
weird. Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
But that's why
That's
I'm
also
like,
not a relationship though, because I feel like
yeah. Well, we don't need it. I don't feel like.
I don't feel like I'm missing.
Okay, I'm about to say. Let me ask first. But yeah, we don't need it.
Okay, if you did, please.
But I think in my family, all of our love languages are the same. Like we all grew up together, so all of us are just like, bitch, I love you. Like I kill somebody for you.
Right.
You know that, and that's all you need
But
to
I ain't
know.
gonna say it.
Yeah, no.
And I feel like I'm just trying to get in the habit of saying it more so it's not so uncomfortable just in case something ever happens. I don't feel a way like, or I mean, some people just be in their feelings and be wanting to know.
Yeah, like I said, I do it for people I feel like need it, but if you
Yeah.
don't need it, I don't say it. But also for me, like compliments are uncomfortable for me too.
Oh, I
Even
know
though-
that too. I do not know how to.
Yeah,
oh,
I'm just
you
like-
look so cute today.
I just be like, yeah.
It was from Forever 21. My shirt.
Yeah. But like my best friend, I didn't say, she told me I was cute. I didn't say thank you. We didn't speak for a year because her love language is words of affirmation. I'm like, because I didn't say thank you. I said yeah. Like, you know what I meant. But because it's so important to her, and I'm just like, I don't get it. But I have to be like,
But she took it away.
yeah.
I had
Like,
to
thanks,
learn how to
girl.
give it back, too.
Yeah.
But I do really care about, especially now, because I care about feeling appreciated. I try to make people. That's why I'm big on like birthday shout outs. I was trying to let you know everything, but I ain't gonna tell you the other 364 days of the year.
But on your birthday,
On your
you
birthday,
got
I'll let you know how I feel about you, and then we ain't gonna talk about it no more for the rest of the year. But just because I want people to know, and when you think about it, everybody loves that. Everybody loves getting their birthday shout outs and knowing how people actually feel about you, because ain't nobody sitting around talking about it.
Right.
So it's just like, I wonder if they notice this. And then on your birthday, you end up noticing like, you feel that bad about me.
I
That's
feel
not
bad
something I'm
when-
trying to tell people. Like, you said what?
I feel bad when I do like birthday shout outs, but sometimes I be so busy during the day that I forget to do it. And I'm like, dang, I ain't doing no birthday.
It get overwhelming though. But it's at the end of the day. Or I be like, I don't like this for the aesthetic of my page. But then when I think about it, like the importance of how I want to make you feel and let you know like how much you mean to me is just like more important to me now. Especially like I said, we getting older, we losing people every day. Like the world is crazy. Like I don't want to regret nothing, and I don't want you to go out feeling unappreciated. I don't want to have to. My main thing is I don't want to have to talk at your funeral and tell people how great you was and how I felt about you, but I never told it to you, or you never heard it from me.
Yeah. That should get me self-reflective. Yeah, birthday was like, you know what it is.
I don't lie. I like birthday shout outs. That's why I feel so bad when I don't do it, because when I don't do it, I'm like, damn, they ain't gonna shout me out for my birthday.
Yo, that's real though. No, my papa got a list. Like, you ain't tell me happy birthday? Nope, you ain't getting on this shit. I'm like, dang.
To keep it real, because I done did that. Shit, you ain't tell me happy birthday. Fuck that.
Count your days.
Wait till your birthday come around. I ain't even tell you.
No, but low-key people will really stop speaking to you behind that. Like, somebody It's somebody I don't talk to all the time, but we're friends. But we just don't like we don't talk all the time. But then I ain't hear from them for a while. They answer my calls for a while, which is not unusual. And when I finally did talk, I'm like, what's up with you? They're like, you forgot my birthday. And I seen you post for her birthday. I seen you post for his birthday. And I'm just like, I just don't know what we're saying anymore. And I'm just like, girl, I was busy that day. That was a bad day. I'm sorry.
So I apologize if I did not.
All my dogs, you watching this?
I apologize. It won't. The man not the hot. The man not the hot.
Social
So
media is
shout
psyching
out
us
my
out.
girl.
Right. I'm like, okay, you my real friend. You my real friend. That little weekend radio, they say HBD.
No, you couldn't even write it out for me.
Right. Okay, I see you.
It's a little paragraph minimum.
Right.
Just,
And liking my birthday post is not a happy birthday.
Okay.
You better comment.
No, that I do pay attention to. If you liked it but didn't write happy birthday, I'm like, I see you. Jealous.
Hate today, huh? I said it ain't you, though. Wait till yours come around.
Wait till yours come around. See what I do. Okay, so my next question is, do you feel like, we all are in relationships, so you can say about this one or another one. Do you feel like you are or have been properly loved in your love language? Like the way that you want to be?
I'm gonna say at times yes, and at times no. Because I've been in a relationship a long time.
A long time.
A long time. So we not always gonna meet at every single moment.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna go in and out. Like sometimes, like you said earlier, it's easy to just love someone how you want them to love you. Like it takes a lot more effort to continuously think about the other person and how they want to be loved.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's an in and out thing, but as long as we eventually come back and be intentional about, like, I've been kind of lazy loving you lately. It's been a lot going on. And as long as I can find a moment and acknowledge that and then be intentional about how to love you, I feel like it's cool. Because we're not going to always, that's a lot of work.
That is a lot of work.
To every day, like, have to choose to love someone.
And going out of your normal self.
Yeah, and with everything else that you have going on with
Right.
your work, with your children, with your family, with your social, and all of this, and then still, that's a lot of work to do. I feel like that's impossible to do. If you're doing that, then kudos.
Unless, it's probably easier if, like, two people have the same love language. Because if you're loving how you want to be loved, and we have the
Right,
same,
yeah, we don't ever.
That probably rarely happens.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And then, well, some people, like, as you're getting older and as you're in different places in your life, it's changing. Like mine, I wasn't always acts of service, but now I am. So you have to take that into account too. Like, yesterday you was like this, and now you don't like that no more.
Especially y'all, because y'all was together when you were 20, and now you're
like,
together when you're 30,
you're
and
not
it's like
gonna
y'all
be
two
the
different
same.
people.
You're not gonna be the same, and you're not supposed to. So that's another work. Like, you gotta make sure that they still the same love language that they were.
You gotta relearn them and relearn you.
You at the same time. That's a lot of work. I don't think you can always do that.
So
But if
that's-
if you think about it and you're intentional, like, okay, let me do it like this, then obviously you care enough to be like, okay, let me switch how I'm doing this, because you might not be feeling appreciated the way I want you to feel, because obviously I appreciate you.
What you about to say?
No, I was just speaking on that. I guess it's like when you're in a relationship and it carries that length, you gotta be open-minded to how people change. You know, so you don't want to get in a situation where somebody's kind of like just stuck. And I'm this. I'm always gonna be this. Because, you know, I'm gonna be different. I'm gonna feel a different way maybe tomorrow, or you know, maybe next year when X, Y, and Z is going on. So you have to keep like an open mind to how people change. Four Agreements is a real good book to read that teaches about that. Always do your best. Your best changes over time. You know, my best today may not be my best tomorrow. But,
That's a
Fact. Yeah, that's a fact.
I feel like, yeah, to be honest, hearing that question and then thinking about it, it makes me deep dive into past relationships to say, I wonder if they love me in my love language. I would say some did, but not like consistently. You know, I think the one now is very consistent in my love language. We kind of figured it out and we compromise. I know certain things that it's necessary for me to do because that's what she like.
Right.
You know?
I feel like it's good that she even send that to you, because then y'all can actually talk about it and she could actually know. Because ain't nobody ever asked me, or I never asked nobody what theirs is. So.
Yeah, it was the first time I ever was asked that question, and it made me think about it, and it made things really make sense going forward. Because like I said, I was really, and sometimes still, very stubborn in the way that I see things. And I'm like, I think something's lame, or I think something's like not my style of doing things. You know, I quick to dismiss it. And I began to learn how to stop dismissing, you know, not just her feelings, but just in general, like, okay, I see why you are like this about this, and that you like this type of thing. So, you know, let me do this because it, you know, it just make you feel good about yourself. You know, so, and I wanted the same type of way in my own way, so there's no reason why I can't compromise and at least do that.
Right.
So.
And that would make me feel cared about. Like if somebody asks me what my love language is, I'm like, oh, so you want to know? Like you care about how I want to be loved versus you just doing what you want from me. Like.
But they said, pro tip, ask her what her love language.
Yeah, pro tip. What was the question? Do you feel like you've been loved in your love language?
I think, yeah, right now, but he's very like methodical with stuff, so he makes sure like he does certain things, and I just get used to them that I forget. Like mine's is like acts of service, so I haven't pumped gas in like a year, but now I'm used to it, but I should still remember like that is an act of service. So I'm kind of looking for other things, like yeah, but she ain't washing no dishes. But it's like, oh, but you are doing these other things that I just gotten used to, so be more cognizant of that. Yeah. The last one now.
That's why I can't hear no I for sure have never loved. I mean, I've only been in one group. You know what? It was very briefly, but no, I'll just say no. Because anything from my childhood, no, it don't count.
They ain't know.
Right, they didn't know we was kids. We was just doing stuff. But I would say no. And then, like I said, in the only relationship I've really been in, I feel like it was a power struggle. Of like me trying to get you to come to my side and you trying to get me to go to your side. And like I said, I knew nothing about this. So I'm just like, you selfish. And I'm not gonna change because you knew this is who I was. You know what, I don't like that. So don't touch me. Like, I'm not gonna buy you gifts. Like, so yeah, I feel like I haven't, but I also feel like I didn't do it either. So it's just like a learning moment. Like, but I know now, like, if I ever be in another relationship, I'd do it right. I'd be more mindful of that. Yeah, and more intentional. Which is really disappointing because I really think I'm a real intentional person, but I guess not in my relationship. With my friends and family. Ooh.
So what do you think that learning more about like love language and learning that is a different form of it than what you put out, like going forward, is that like, all right, in my next relationship, try to figure that portion of the relationship.
Yeah, and what I would really do is be more open and stop trying to drop hints. Because I hate when people drop hints with me because I'm like, just say what you mean, say what you want, say what you need. But I'm the same way. Like, I don't want to have to tell you how to love me. Like, that's what keeps me from doing it. Like, I feel like I feel more loved if you just do it.
Yeah.
Like, if I have to tell you, then it's like you're doing it because I told you not to really love me. But really, you don't, as much as you know people, you don't know them. You know what I mean? You don't know how every single thing they went through in their childhood. You don't know every single thing that made them feel loved or unloved. Like, there's no way you fully know anybody. So even though I don't want to have to tell you, I feel like if I want the relationship to work, I'm going to tell you what I need so that I know that I at least gave you a chance. But if you don't do it, it's really because you don't want to.
Yeah, because you chose.
Right. So now, I'd be more open in telling people, and I'd also ask, like, what is your love language and what do you need from me? Because I understand now that sometimes me just being me just ain't enough, which sounds crazy. But and now I know, like, it's just,
So is that a question that you really ask somebody in the super beginning of a relationship?
I would.
Yeah, I feel like
I want to see what you do first. Like, I want to see what you do on your own first. Because if you already do that, it's like, oh, then let me just enjoy it without me having to tell.
So that's not like one of those questions. You know, when you first meet somebody, it's like, hey, where you from? What you like to do? What's your favorite?
What's your love language?
That's how, he asked me that, and I'm just like, the what? Your love language. I'm like, I told him music. He's like, yeah, that's not one of them.
I think I said some stupid like that to talk to, but
I was like, maybe a playlist. That's my love language. He's like, that's not an option. I was like, but I don't know. But it was really early on, and I was like, oh.
See, but then that's a good question at the same time. It's like, I wouldn't ask, but I do get, like, if you did ask me, I might feel flattered because I'm just like, oh, so you really you care to know.
Because then why waste your time on an important question than what's your favorite color? Like,
Ooh, Chad, don't ask me that.
you know, like little stuff. I mean, eventually you should probably know that about your significant other.
Right.
listening to it though, kind of like what love language is almost like as I'm deep diving into it. Maybe I'm thinking about it too much. If I'm asking you that, then that really kind of shows that I'm into you.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like that's a I'm into you type of question.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because I'm really trying to hit and go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna ask me that. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't care.
And
yeah,
for
I
me,
think that's thoughtful.
Yeah, and for me, you started off like trying to buy me a whole bunch of stuff. I would have cut you off early because that doesn't do nothing for me. And it's like you're trying to flex. I'm like, no, but if you knew my love language was something else, maybe you would have did different.
Right. That's true. I didn't think about that. I'm over here trying to be hard.
Do you think that there's two love languages? Like if you are one love language and your partner is another one, that they just clash?
Yes.
Like it's just harder to get along with each other because your love languages are like that.
I always feel like I'm gonna clash with somebody who your love language is gifts. Just because it sounds terrible, but I'm gonna judge you about that. Like, and you may have a legitimate reason, but just the way the world is now, I won't know if it's ever genuine. Mm-hmm. Like, is that really your love language, or are you trying to flex? Are you trying to use me? Are you like, and why is that what's most important to you? Like, I don't feel like I'd be compatible with anybody that's what's so important to you. Because let's say the last one on their list is quality time. Mm-hmm. And let's say that is one of the most important ones to me. So if you're more worried about gifts and I'm more worried about going out of town and going on dates and stuff like that, I'll always feel like there will be a disconnect about that. Like, I'll do it if I'm like really love you, I'll buy you some stuff. But if that's how you constantly have to be loved, I feel like that's just not somebody.
Does it depend on the gift? Like, if it's a Versace shirt as opposed to like something more meaningful.
Candy from the gas station. I don't know you want it.
Yeah, like something as small as that. Like, oh, I'm at the gas station and I know he really loves this candy. Let me buy him this real quick.
Yeah, I just feel like it'll be too much pressure for me. And really, stuff like that, what I learned from a relationship that I was in was actually really important, but I didn't catch on to the end. Like, dang, you hype because I bought you your favorite candy bar. Let me keep doing this. But like, but for real, if I was like, I just don't think that I'd ever figure it out. Like, if it was just little stuff like a candy bar and stuff like that, I might could get with it, but I'm just not. I'd have to grow into it.
Mm-hmm.
And me as I am right now, I'm not that thoughtful.
Even though you know the love language comes from stuff in the childhood.
Yeah, even though I know that because you know it, but in your day-to-day moving, you're not thinking that deep every time. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I know that I would fall short there. And I feel pressure like, oh, let me value this. Oh, let me get that. Oh, let me... I just don't feel like it would be compatible with me.
And the gifts, do they always have to be paid for? Like,
Right. Like, can it be a love letter? Can it be like, I'm getting
I
is
feel
this
like
as
to
a
me
gift?
that
or-
would be a gift. Like, that you
Yeah.
went out of your way. Who's writing letters? Like,
Right.
who's writing letters? Like, you went out of your way to
So I
write
dated
a
somebody in
poem.
jail, okay? I used to love letters.
Shut up.
Let me go check the mail.
Then you run around, you be getting anonymous letters, and you ain't trying to hide it. You're like, well, why you hiding them letters? They was from me the whole time. I said, I didn't know.
Okay, so we'll just close it out with this question then. Do you feel like after this conversation that you've grown in your love languages?
Grown in my
Like grown in your love and the way that you'll love and the way that you can self-reflect, if you learned anything like that.
I need to go home and stop being so lazy.
And that be a part of it too, getting comfortable with somebody. Like,
Yeah.
check bought you some yesterday. Sit
I
down.
need to go home and make sure his love language is same. Take this quiz. And let me know what it come out.
Is this your love food?
Are you happy over there?
Now I would say I did do that. I never dig deep, but I'd ask like, "Are you happy?"
I do
Or like, "Do you need? Am I supposed to be doing something else?" The problem was people would give like simple answers like, "Yeah." I'm like, "No, you're perfect." And then I would just take it, and I feel like moving forward, I dig deeper because
It's always something.
yeah, it's always something you could be doing about it.
Dig deeper in a question like that. And this is from somebody that has been asked that question like that. But initially, when you get it, and maybe this is just from a guy's perspective, you're like, "Hey, are you happy?" Immediately, I'll be like, "What you? what you getting at? What you doing? What happened?" I'm usually thinking kind of negative about it because like, why would you ask if I'm happy and I ain't doing nothing? Because
Right.
I'm here being happy.
We sitting down watching TV together, like.
Happy as I am. They just took you out to eat, man.
You not?
But I can see that from dudes.
No, because I would ask that like periodically, and that's how Eddie would take it originally. I can say his name because we married.
We all over stupid.
But at first he was like, "Yeah, I mean, you all right? Like, what's going on?" I was like, "No, like, all right, is there something else I could be doing?" And in that moment, and maybe it's like the setting too, because it would come from left field. Like, he watching Netflix, and I'm like, "Are you happy?" He's like,
So what, you ain't leave me?
"Yeah."
I can see Eddie now, like, yeah. Do you think guys really care about that?
What?
Love languages? Or do y'all even think about it?
To be honest,
Maybe y'all think that's
this
a
is-
lame thing to even talk about.
It was lame at first. It was very lame at first, and and I would say it's lame from the perspective of somebody that has a single mentality. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I don't want no love language at all. And, you know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to get out of it is not love.
Right,
You know?
okay.
But now that I'm looking into something, I'm like, all right, how do I move forward in a more longevity standpoint? Now now I have to. I wouldn't even say have to, but now I feel like it's important for me to know those things because I mean the getting representative of myself is gone at this point. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You see me all the time. We talk all the time. You already know all of my fire jokes that all of the little things about me you know. So now I have to kind of like pay attention to what's going on with you so that it can continue moving forward. You know, because I feel like in a longevity standpoint, when you miss those things are things that kind of go searching for outside of a relationship. Which, you know, you can't stop anybody from doing anything they want to do. But, you know, it opens up the door when, you know, I don't take that time to like learn those little things.
Other person feels.
Because once people feel unappreciated, that's when.
Exactly. Then you're going to go look for some appreciation, and then I gotta go look for some buzzing inside the head. No.
You said you grown. You've grown since then.
Yeah, I've grown since then. You know, much people outside the head. You leave.
You leave. Noted.
They hit the road jack and don't come back. No more. That's what they missed. They missed that part. No more.
No more.
They'll go down the street and then come right back and be like, I love it. So yeah, I didn't find it as important to know at one point in time because I mean I don't want to go into learning nobody's love language.
Right. At this point, it's just like if you care, you're gonna take the time to learn. And I feel like that's how you'll know now. Like if you care about me, you'll take the time to go out of your way to love me how I need. Yeah.
Learning the love language, now that I know what it is, it can be really the difference maker before the difference maker of this being like you know, short-term relationships and building it into a real deal relationship, marriage, things like that. So, I mean, I even at one point in time I guess I didn't believe in marriage, but I kind of like, you know, weren't as interested in that.
I used to be like that.
Way back.
But now, you know, those are the things that, like, all right, how do you build this relationship to something?
Right. That just made me old.
learn about your person, so then things are a little more easy.
You said it's your prime.
But yeah, turn it up. Turn that whole oven up for one.
Well, okay, y'all, we're gonna end it right there. So thank y'all for being on the podcast. So we're gonna end it. Y'all can just say what y'all doing, what y'all into right now, so that people can know your little business, everything you got going on.
Okay.
And your Instagram.
Well, I have a little jewelry business, a big
Ain't nothing
jewelry
little
business.
about it. Ain't nothing little about it.
No, me and you had a conversation at her birthday party about small business, and that stuck with me for a minute because you were like, you getting out of saying small business and saying emerging business.
Come on, emerging business.
So I have an emerging business called 144 what is that called? I:XLIV. And the Instagram is at I.XLIV. And we're going to have a Cyber Monday sale tomorrow.
Cyber Monday. I'm Marquis. I'm a emerging entrepreneur, designer. I got a lot of hats, but mainly I'm into art and opening up business and making sure other people are confident enough to open up business and move to that point.
And fly shit.
And fly shit. And thugging.
So y'all know.
Thugging. The only thug on Saturdays. I gotta work. But yeah, so Marquis, I am a artist and entrepreneur. So you can look me up on Instagram, that's where I go down. Key_Saint_Laurent. And my brand is PLD. So that's me.
Period. Are you gonna bring it back?
Emerging entrepreneur at oscillator.com. We got some heat coming, but we on hiatus right now.
Hiatus. Okay, y'all. So thank y'all for watching this episode. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, because we're gonna have more episodes like this coming. So thank y'all for watching.